What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here. Another quick little review for you. This is the Zero Tolerance 0357. Kind of in-house design by ZT. Came out a couple years back. Pretty decent little everyday carry knife. Zero Tolerance is part of KAI USA. That's the parent company that owns ZT and also Kershaw. So this is an in-house design knife by them. This is a 0357 assisted, which is, I think this is the only assisted knife that I own now. Used to have a Kershaw Leak and Blur. Had a couple other knives that were assisted. I don't know, I have to check my knife drawer. I believe I do still have one other Kershaw maybe that's assisted. Not really, I'm not the biggest fan of assisted open knives. I kind of like a manual side opening folder, just because you know, when I deploy a knife, I like to deploy it in my own speed and in my own way. And assisted knives, I guess one good thing about an assisted knife is it will fire out every single time whenever you go to do it, especially Kershaw, or in this case even more so a Zero Tolerance. But assisted knives really aren't my thing. That being said, I have used this knife quite a good bit at work and at home, and doing a lot of just random cutting tasks with it. It's a great knife, excellent knife. The assisted thing is probably the one thing that has kept it out of my pocket even more so than what it's already been. But like I said, that still hasn't kept me from using it a whole bunch. I use it a lot. So go ahead and flick her open for you. There's a little close-up of it. Pretty good texture G10 there. Stonewash on the blade. Now, I did this is the blade came stonewashed, but I added my own stonewash to it because I kind of was experimenting around, seeing what it would do. That was quite a while back. I haven't sharpened it in a while, as you can tell. I mean, it's got an edge on it, but not really like the best of edges. Actually, one of my first attempts at sharpening a knife also, and the steel's held up pretty well. You can actually tell right there that that's the original coat that was on the stonewash. I put some fingernail polish on that before I dipped it in the acid and stonewashed it. But came stonewashed already. I was just trying to see what it would do to stonewash it on top of that, I guess. But didn't really change the looks of it too much. So here's go ahead and get into specs, dimensions for you. This is overall on it. Got the tape measure right there. Overall, from the tip of the blade all the way to the end of the handle, you got just a hair over 7.5, right at about 7 9/16, maybe right at that. Just a little bit over 7.5. Blade length coming in right at 3 3/8, 3 1/4 to 3 3/8, and cutting edge you're looking at right at 3 1/4 on the cutting edge. Yeah, right at 3 1/4. So what I call a full size knife. Not exceptionally small, not exceptionally large, just kind of like a full-size knife. Go ahead and get out the size comparison knives. That's Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and that's it. Up next to the Spyderco Para 3. So more along the size of the Paramilitary 2, although shorter overall, and I guess a lot less cutting edge than the Para 3. You put the Paramilitary 2's cutting edge up to it. Paramilitary 2 has just a touch more cutting edge than this one. But It's more along the total length size of the pair of three whenever you look at them from end to end. I know the camera kind of throws it off a little bit. Do some more size comparisons. Let's see what we got here. We got the Doug Ritter RSK MK1 Ritter Hogue, and that's the Hogue Deca. More along the size of the Ritter Hogue, but not quite as much sharpened blade length. And here is the Cold Steel knives. That's the 8010 size comparison next to the 8010. A lot slimmer, sleeker of a build of a knife, really. Nowhere near as bulky. And this is the zero tolerance. This is the only other zero tolerance I have at the moment to compare it to, but that's the 0562, I believe. Yeah, 0562. That's the kind of like zero tolerance's version of the Hinder XM18. So that's it. Next to that, smaller than that for sure, although not too much more. Go ahead and put those up. Let's see, get out the calibers, trying to find them. You know, bear with me here. Here we go. All right, zeroed out. So, all the way at this is all the way against the spine. It's not a flat grind. It's not a full flat grind, but it doesn't taper that much. Like right in here is your full width of your blade, your blade stock width. Kind of swedges down this way gradually in 2 steps, and then swedges down really deep this way. So we'll go ahead and put this up there, see what it's at. Sitting at about 127 thousandths, 122 thousandths, 106 thousandths there. Go to the other side of it. Thinnest part, right next to the edge. So at 30 thousandths, 34 thousandths. So not really especially thin blade stock, but not what I would call like thick blade stock either. Let me do the handle as well while I already have the calipers out here. Handle thickness under 1/2 inch, 0.46 of an inch. So not really a super thick handle, especially whenever you when you equate that with the length of the blade itself. Get the scale out. Make sure it's zeroed out. 4.3 ounces. That's over the ounce and inch ratio by an ounce or so. But I mean, it's not really that big of a deal to me, at least. It carries pretty good in the pocket. Pair of blue jeans, pair of work pants kind of disappears in the pocket. To me, it's not really like an especially bulky, heavy knife. Go ahead and put it on there again just to make sure. 4.3 ounces, what you got there. Alright. Go ahead and get the blue jeans out. So in the pocket, and you can tell I've used it a lot. It's frayed, worn, faded, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So that's what you're looking at in the pocket. Zero tolerance is standard. Deep carry pocket clip, no complaints there. Carries pretty well. It's not especially long. In my opinion, pretty decent pocket clip. Could do without the ZT logo on it, but other than that, you know, not really too bad of a pocket clip in my opinion. do a hardware check. Let's see. Believe the pivot is a T8. The T8 there, but I got a little bit of extra room. Let me double check. I always like to double check just to make sure, but yeah, that's a T8. I'll show you guys. T8 on the pivot there. I believe all the rest of the screws on it are T6. Body screws, I'll double check them. Yeah, T6, and pocket clip screws, I'm almost certain that's T6. Yeah, T6 on the pocket clip screws. Pretty good bit of hardware. 1, 2, 3 on that side, plus the pivot, plus your pocket clip screws to take apart. But I mean, T6 is always kind of, I'd rather have T8s or better, as I always say, but T6 you can strip a bit out pretty easy. Just gotta kind of push down hard on it and be careful and not go too fast. T6s, you'll usually, you know, get them in and out just fine without stripping anything out, unless you're over tightening or unless you're trying to loosen something that's already super tight, in which case T6s are very, very prone to stripping out. All right, so did all the specs, dimensions, size comparisons, ergonomics on this thing. I would say they're pretty good. I wear a large size glove, so I guess average size hands. You know, it's pretty comfortable in hand. You can choke up on it a little bit. I'm kind of wanting to choke up with my index finger there, which for obvious reasons is not a good thing, because that cutting edge can, you know, you don't need to have your finger up against that cutting edge. The flipper tab kind of gives you a little bit right there, but more so wanting to put my finger there, and especially with this little notch, almost harpoon like notch, I guess it's right there. Kind of makes me want to choke up right there, but the blade's not cut out for that. A little bit of jimping there helps a little bit. The edges are zero tolerance as typical fit and finish, which is pretty good with G10. No complaints really with the G10. It's average normal texture G10. The grid pattern on it is really small. If it was a larger grid pattern on the G10 handles, it would be more sandpapery, I guess would be the way I would describe it. But as small as the grids are on the G10, it's not really an issue. It's fairly smooth, grippy enough to where it's not just going to slip out of your hand while you're using it. Backspacer there helps. That helps keep all the gunk out of it, which is a good thing, because assisted opening knives are a lot harder, in my opinion anyway, to disassemble and take apart and clean and oil up than a regular manual, full manual opening knife. This is actually for an assisted knife, and this might be, you know, me talking with my bias towards assisted knives, you know, kind of looming in the background the whole time. But even for an assisted knife, considering that this is not a bad knife. Now, for the money right now, they're about 180 bucks or so on Knife Center. You can get them periodically on sale for, you know, a little less than that wherever. But for 180 bucks, I would, you know, even though this is made in the USA, USA manufacturing, USA company, USA made knife. For 180 bucks, I would recommend, there's a bunch of other manual open knives I would recommend. Benchmade Grotillon, Spyderco, some of the paramilitary 2s are still around that price right now. You know, there's a bunch of other knives I would recommend before this assisted opening zero tolerance. Now, even if you did take the assisted opening factor out of it, to me it's still, you know, it's got the T6 hardware. That's not good. Assisted opening, not really the best. And choking up right there where you get your finger on the cutting edge, not really good either. If I had to rate it out of like 10, I would say maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Not an exceptionally great knife, but not an awfully terrible knife. I just, in my opinion, would spend the 170, 180 bucks on something, you know, more worthwhile and a little bit better quality than this. But in the end, it's not a bad knife, and Zero Tolerance overall is a pretty decent brand, although they've tapered off a lot over the last few years with making new folders. But that's about it. That's all I got. That is the Zero Tolerance 0357 full review. I'm going to link it down below, knifecenter.com. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you later.